Welcome back to Fox Sports Lab NRL. It is time for our experts to make some big calls on some big games this weekend. And to Friday night and the Dolphins. Can Wayne Bennett's boys make it 3 in a row when they travel outside of Queensland for the very first time to take on Newcastle at McDonald Jones Stadium? Josh, can they get the job done south of the border?
Yeah, I think they can start the season 3-0, and I think they're the NRL's second favourite team for everyone at the moment. I think with the Knights, with their losses to key personnel, particularly Safidi, Ponga and Brayley, around that spine they lose quite a bit and they lose one of their enforcers. I think they're going to struggle, and I think that the style that the Dolphins play, they will wear them down and then come away with it late in the game.
Absolutely. What would be the message from Wayne Bennett in the lead up to this one? To go 3-3, I mean, no one would have saw that coming.
Yeah, I think to stick to their game plan. They've been very composed, down 12-0 on the weekend. I think that's the reason why he's got a really senior forward pack. You know they're going to be in the game at the back end of the game. They're not beating themselves, and I've been really impressed with their young halfbacks. You know, they've played simple and picked their moments, and it's been a winning move at the back end of both games. Absolutely.
The Dolphins there, well, Craig Bellamy will be demanding a massive shift in attitude and commitment when the Storm takes on the Titans on the Gold Coast. Craig Bellamy, he didn't mince his words when he came out last week after that loss to the Bulldogs. Tim, what are you expecting from the Storm this weekend?
Yeah, you'd hate to have been on the end of that spray, wouldn't you, at half-time that we all saw on TV. So, look, I think it's the Melbourne Storm. They have to bounce back, don't they? I think we'd all be pretty surprised if they didn't. I just think I'm really intrigued to see how they go without Nelson Asofa-Solomona, because they welcome back some key personnel there. Justin Olam's back, Xavier Coates, Tui Kamikamica, Tarek Sims plays his first game for the club. But how much is Nelson worth to that pack? Because now that they've lost Brandon Smith, and obviously to the Roosters, Nass has gone as well. I'm worried about ruck speed and what Harry Grant can do off the back of that. So I think they might be a little bit light on. We'll find out the value of Nass to that team pretty soon.
What about the Titans? How will they prepare for this one coming up against the Storm? They're going to be out to prove a point, no doubt.
Yeah, they will be. I think the Titans played 2 halves on the weekend against the Dragons. They looked really good in that first half, and then the second half fell away and the Dragons ran away with it. So they need to address that second half start and make sure that they're playing that full 80 minutes, because going down to Melbourne, it's hard to win there, and you need to be playing 80 minutes of football to beat them.
Absolutely. Well, the Raiders have been close, but not close enough over the opening 2 rounds, and they now face a Cronulla side keen to build on a good win over Parramatta. The pressure is certainly building on the Raiders.
Yeah, definitely. The Raiders are a side that we'll go in patches of a couple of losses in a row, but they can string 5 or 6 wins in a row together. They're a massive momentum team, and I think they just need to learn to get that ugly win. If they get that first win, get that bit of confidence, they can go on a winning streak. But, the Sharks, they've sort of shown in the first 2 weeks that last year wasn't a fluke. Even with, some of the players they've had out, they've had up that next man up mentality, and some of the guys that have stood up, Braden Trindle and Will Kennedy, been outstanding, particularly last week in the win against the Eels. So, I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, so it's going to be quite a tough task for the Raiders.
Cronulla last won in Canberra in 2018. You're the stats guru. Does that play a part in this with the record speak?
Yeah, look, 8 on the trot for the Raiders against the Sharkies, so pretty promising. And I think the Raiders will get up for this one. They have to. People sort of think it's dire straits and panic stations for the Raiders. They were 2 tight losses. The one against the Dolphins was in an absolute pouring rain for that game, very wet field. So I wouldn't look into it too much. I love what they were doing last week with Jack Whiten for the first time in a long time, if ever, sweeping both sides of the field. He scored a try on the right edge, which is less familiar with 10 minutes into that game, and I think they'll reap the rewards of that this season.
Okay, well, let's have a look at the rest of the other games for round 3. Chris is our only panellist who is backing the Eels to get the job done. Tim is solo in backing the Roosters to get it done in the rivalry game against the Rabbitohs. And Chris, well, he is backing the Tigers to get the job done over the Bulldogs. Plenty of tips there for you to soak up. Thanks, team, and thank you for joining us at home. Don't forget to subscribe below and follow us on socials. We'll be back with Fox Sports Lab NRL next week.
League is life. It's exhilaration, anticipation, highs and highlights. League is everything. That's why we've made a betting brand for League fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.